Right, just while we're waiting for the chips to arrive, lads, I'm going to throw the ball in now. The 3 of you have played your championship and you're done for the year already, I suppose. We're in early August. Your thoughts on the format, lads? What way do you think it should be? If the county board came knocking Brendan and said, Brendan Mulligan, design the championship, what changes would you make, if any?
I get 2 new knees first anyway, maybe just to help me out. That'd be the first request. But no, look, I have to say I love the 2 groups of 6, and I love the way it's set up. Like, you know, we'll say you play your hurling first and football championship second. I think it's fair to everyone, like, you know, to prepare. Like, but probably I think the running of games, like in your first 3 championship games are played over 11 days. Like, you know, Tuesday, Saturday, and Saturday or Sunday or whatever. So that in itself is heavy going. Like, you know.
We have the chips here now, so
bring them in there.
There you go.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
But no, like I think, like I have to say now, last week I felt probably now I'm at the latter end of the scale in terms of age, but probably the games consecutively every week was taking its toll a little bit. Like, you know, the championship games every weekend is heavy going. And I suppose when you get to the knockout,
suit younger lads.
Yeah. But like when you get to the knockout stage too, I suppose the tension in getting ready for a game is part of it as well. Like, you have a 2-week preparation for a semi-final, a 2-week preparation for a final, whatever. Now it's just like you haven't time to recover and you're playing your next championship game. So I think, like, you know, if you play your first couple of games, and the way it worked out with the All-Ireland this year, I thought All-Ireland Sunday should have been free, and especially for inter-county players who've trained all year. They actually have to end up giving away their tickets.
Yeah.
Do you know, they can't even go to the game. So
No.
What do you think, Joe?
No, I'd have to agree with Molly there. I would have to say there should be 2 weeks, and then you should get a week off, and then you play the rest of your league matches, and then coming to a quarter final, then I think you should be given a week off, and then let it run in. Then if you hit the 3 games, then at least you have time to recover. What I found, even from say last week to the week before, we played on a Sunday evening, and I felt the week just to play a Saturday evening then just came around so quick that it was, your body just can't recover, no matter if you're young or old. Like, say, we had a couple of lads who had dead legs and this and that. They didn't train a couple of nights. They're trying to recover, and it's just too intense. You know, it doesn't give you that week to enjoy it. You know, to get your thing back right. You know.
The key question, I suppose, is then would the calendar even allow for weeks off? Do you know, the fact that we have to be finished currently at the moment, I think it has to be finished by the 17th of October. If it could even go into the end of October, it'd give an extra couple of weeks maybe. What do you think, Mikey?
Yeah. The 5 games is a lot in the league, and a couple of them are dead rubber. You know what I mean? Maybe 3 would be enough, 3 or 4. I find maybe you can't do that. Kind of suits. Like if you pick up an injury, like I did in the Barntown game, it is tight. Then you could miss, a couple of important games, So, I think it is a good dog. So lads can plan their summer, and it's not getting dragged into the winter, and we're playing hurling at the right time of the year. So. Look, you're not going to keep everyone right.
No. Another way I look at it too is, like, 2 weeks ago we were practically out of the championship. We were bottom of our group. We had no wins. Gorey were sitting top, And then 2 weeks later, we had to turn our season around, or we were gone. And not only that, we had to win. We had to beat Kilbane by 10 points to actually qualify. Or was there something around that?
5 to survive.
5 to survive and whatever then to qualify, and we actually ended up doing that. So,
So you would think then that the fact that there's a group of 6 in the 5 games, it gives you a chance maybe with a slow start still to have something to play for then.
Well, I'd even talk like the progression in our players alone. Luke Murphy, Darby Purcell, Conor Clancy for us as well. Like Lee Chin every week was immense for us. I just thought as a team, as the further we went, kind of the bit better we got as well. So that's why when going to play the Raps, we sort of didn't fear them, and we felt if we could get over them that it might just give us a bigger boost going forward.
And I'd agree. Sure, we were the same. Our back was to the wall. We had to win our last 2 matches going along as well, and I think it's a better championship because you didn't know who was beating who in the championship. That's the way I think. I think the group of 3 is just.
And should the hands up top of the group at the end of it all?
If you ask the winner of the championship, they'll be delighted. It's like asking the lad there after riding and what the ground is like. Ask the jockey that wins it, the ground is lovely. Ask the jockey that's pulled up, the ground is rotten.
Well, you played. Well, it just shows, I suppose, that it's very hard to predict one week to the other. We do previews most of the weeks, and it's very hard to predict one week to another form teams. As you said, Mikey, some teams that have less to play for than others might be taking the foot off the gas, might be resting the lad. So it does mean that results, the championship is hard to predict, really.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing. Look at the cream is always going to come to the top. The best teams are in the county semi-finals and they're going to win the county final. Like there's no excuse for us. We're not good enough this year, so that's why I meet the chips here now. We're out, you know?
And you can't take penalties.
No, I can't take penalty. And Doc wouldn't let me, and I said, you know.
I think probably in fairness as well, one thing you could say is that you know, the penalties, no one I think is in favour of penalties.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, in fairness, I think if you're a draw after extra time, I think you're entitled to
Yeah, I think you're
to have a
entitled
go
to
again. You
another
know,
day. Yeah.
you know.
And would you be willing, lads, then, I suppose that there'd have to be a payoff, would you be willing to pay a replay 3 or 4 days later in the midweek?
Oh, no bother.
Or
Yeah,
would,
sure, I think.
or
But ask the Ans and the Martins, sure, they'd say.
Yeah. Sure, Tuesday, what? Last
the
night was a
Martins
gorgeous
wouldn't
night. Yeah, you would, yeah. Wouldn't
Everton
matter.
Saturday,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, well, like, you know, when you don't win the game, you're going to have to take some bit of a sort of a. You're not going to get it all rosy, like. And sure, the boys they play the World Cup soccer, like they play 90 minutes there, 3 or 4 nights after each other, and they play whatever 8 or 9 games. So look at this. Look, it's not ideal, but you'd play it maybe, and it's probably a better option, yeah.
It looked like there wasn't a whole lot of penalty practice going on, like you'd be
No,
sure
it
about that.
wouldn't be a big club for penalties down there. You know?
On either side, I must say, I'm not just blaming St. Anne's, they were both fairly bad sets of penalties. But yeah, look, there's certainly plenty of opinions, and I'm sure plenty of you at home watching this will have your own opinion on it, and I'm sure there'll be a chance for you to express it towards the end of the season as to whether you think the current system is a good one or not. But the 2 groups of 6 seems to be getting the thumbs up from the majority here at the table anyway, but maybe an extra week or 2 of a break if possible would be ideal, I think, lads. Would that be a fair...
Well, I think so. Well, put it this way, if Wexford had got Clare that day, we would have been playing the same championship 2 weeks later, so I didn't understand why we played it off so quick, but sure.
Yeah. I suppose it is a pity, like you're finished now, like as you said. I could be finished altogether.
You're on the back line,
I don't have to go back training until next March.
Matty Flynn will have you training up
Yeah,
the
I'm sure I'll
gallop.
be busy enough now with that.